Despite its few shortcomings, it was a huge critical and financial success for the network.
The Walking Dead social game is now on Facebook. Enter the world of the survivors. Embark on missions with your Facebook friends.
All thanks to Frank Darabont and his hard work and commitment to a project that he nurtured from birth.
So Andrew Lincoln referred to this as your baby. So tell us how kind of proud you are.
I mean, fuck, we're making so much money off of it, we should give the guy a bigger budget now, right? Fucking nope. AMC decided they wanted to save as much money as possible. Frank Darabont and the crew had been in an ongoing battle with AMC over the show's budget, and despite being a huge hit for the network, AMC was even brazen enough to suggest things like, oh, can't we just hear the zombies instead of seeing them? That would save money on makeup. Artistic integrity. So why did they do this? Because they can. The Walking Dead is actually the only show that AMC owns in its entirety. Shows like Mad Men and Breaking Bad are actually co-owned by Lionsgate and Sony. So if there are any disputes between the network and show creators, at least there's a third party. But not with The Walking Dead. If you don't like it, then you can suck it, because we own your whole show, bitch.
I think it will affect the show creatively.
Right, it will ultimately.
In a negative way, which just strikes me as odd.
Right.
You know, if you have an asset, why would you
Punish it.
punish it? Exactly. So that's kind of where we're at.
Not only did they cut the season's budget from $3.4 million to $2.7 million, they also demanded that there would be 13 episodes instead of 6. And hey, that 30% tax credit that went towards the show's budget in season 1 for filming in Georgia, let's take that too! Despite this massive fuck you to Frank Darabont from the network, he still decided that he was going to try and do the show as best as he could. But God, was it a massive blow. You can tell that the cast and crew had some major issues with the budget cuts just by looking at their faces after this question at Comic-Con.
How has going into the second season, knowing you have more episodes, you probably have some more budget, is that a little bit scarier to know that you have more resources in a way?
It's a bit of pressure, you know, knowing that everybody loves the show and there's an expectation now. But I can say that, you know, it's just made everyone work harder. And Frank, jump in anytime you want. But like, we know that it's empowered us to try harder.
Despite all these punches that AMC was throwing their way, they still tried their best to market the show and work with what they had.
I'm working with my friends that are so good at what they do, and I think you're gonna be so thrilled.
She wasn't kidding when she was saying she was working with her friends. Anyone familiar with Frank Darabont's The Mist would recognize that he used a lot of the same actors.
Here's a guy who gets his cast and crew together and gives them to AMC, packages this whole show and gives them a show that is way cheaper than it would be meant to make anywhere else, because everyone is working well under their pay grade. Why? Because they want to and love working with Frank Darabont. That's what's going on. He shared with me what kind of pay cuts people have been taking. And I also am friends with other people on that set, certain department heads. And I know they're not meant, you know, they stepped up because they wanted to work with Frank. Some of these people went to high school with Frank.
Yep, Frank Darabont handed this whole show to AMC on a fucking platter. And 3 days after this very same press release at Comic-Con 2011, they fired him. Thanks for creating one of the most successful shows on our network. Goodbye!
The saddest thing is, you know, when I was at Comic-Con, which is 3 days before that announcement, I'm talking to him, and he goes, you know, it's hard to do the show. It's really, really hard to do this show for the money that they're making me do the show. But you know what? I have to. And I was like, well, you know, why? Why do you have to? He goes, because I got all these people into this. I got all these cast members to do this. I got all my friends to pull in favors. I've gotten all these people to do things for nowhere near the money they're worth, and nowhere near the money they get paid anywhere else. And the reason I have to show up and do my best, no matter what budget AMC gives me, is because I owe it to everyone that's working for me. And then 3 days later, and by the way, they knew 2 weeks before. They knew 2 weeks before.
Fuck you. With Frank kicked out of the game, they replaced him with his second-hand man, Glenn Mazzara.
There'll be a script coming down the road that'll be in my voice, and it's going to create a panic. And they all were like, okay, and then we released that script a few weeks later, and it created a big panic. I started to have a feeling of what I thought the show should be, but it was different from what we had done. I never wanted it, you know, to be a competition between me and Frank. That's not fair, you know. And to clarify the earlier point, you know, I knew we had trouble on the show. We had a problematic season premiere, so I knew we were working on a problem.
Budget-wise or shooting or?
Just the story didn't hang together. The footage came in, it wasn't what we wanted. You know, it was just something that needed reshoots and editing, and it was just a problem.
Yeah, let's replace the director of Shawshank Redemption with the man that created this.
Previously on Crash.
I love you.
Pressing my love for you is against the rules.
You're gonna leave your wife?
You think a major bathroom remodel is going to make them love you?
Fuck you, AMC. You know what's the worst part about all these backstabbing financial decisions that they made? They were right. AMC doesn't give two shits about making compelling television. Remember, they don't have anything to do with the actual creation of the show. All they want to do is make money off of it. And it fucking worked. No one even seemed to notice the show's extreme drop in quality due to a lack of a sufficient budget. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is what I'm here to show you.
You think you were blown away season 1. Season 2 is incredible. It's doubly incredible.
Season 2 is more action-packed. It's even more dramatic, if you can believe that.
The stakes are higher. The characters are richer.
Why is T-Dog continuing to go on?
Season 2, it's just really, really testing the faith and the hope of everybody.
The writing's so good this year, it's spooky.